I want to talk about the black family. I want to talk about the black family, losing its sense of unity, sense of connectiveness. We don't even identify each other as family anymore. We tend to separate and become divisive towards each other. But primarily, I want to talk about, black family members who go away to college and seeking, this lifestyle that's been promoted to them through television and music and fashion and movies and all type of news articles and advertisement tell them that in order for them to have a viable, successful, interesting life, they have to go away to these universities and completely cut themselves off from their community, their family members, their love for their black culture. They become these professionals who are no longer, religious, no longer have a specific belief in Jesus Christ or God. They read books, written by philosophers like Nietzsche and Darwin, and Darwinism, and they incorporate, these strange, self-serving philosophies that white men had created either to exonerate themselves for the atrocities that they have committed upon this earth, or they use their new European knowledge to advance themselves economically, thus leaving their black neighborhoods behind, their black communities behind, and their sole purpose for their new education, their European education, is to increase their own revenue, live in a big house in a white community, and completely absorb themselves and assimilate into white society. And then, as if that wasn't a big issue in itself, I'll go a little bit further as to say that this newly acquired European knowledge, they don't use it to uplift their people. All right, I learned this technique on how we can better ourselves, and we go back to my community and try to uplift my people out of the rut that they find themselves in. No, they don't do that. They don't think along those lines. They don't have that mentality. What their mentality is that, all right, I improved myself. I've learned so much European knowledge that now I don't want to even associate or identify myself with my black community or my black family or my uncle who's been to jail or my grandmother who worked all her life and got me to college, and now, I don't want anything to do with her because she doesn't necessarily fit into this lifestyle that I have created for myself. They get involved in feminist movements and they fight. We have black women fighting for the rights of white women, and somehow that the white women have convinced black women that they should fight for their cause. And that's one thing I want to also go in on is like, you know what? It was white men who oppressed white women. Black men has never oppressed black women. It requires power, economic power, power in the community, in this country, in order to oppress, someone. I need to have the power to provide you with job opportunities or deny you with job opportunities. I need the power to allow you to move into nice neighborhoods or deny you the right to move into privileged neighborhoods. I need to have the power of the media on my side in order for me to push forward my agenda while at the same time suppressing your agenda. That requires power. And as far as I can tell, the black man has never had that type of power. And so we protected our women. We tried our best to take care of our families and move forward with all these obstacles against us, mass incarceration, the drug epidemic, systematic racism, overt racism, white men forming unions at jobs to protect higher levels in positions so that black men cannot obtain these positions. That is what the word union really means, in case you didn't get my gist. Well, to get back to my point, we don't oppress our women, but for some reason our women feel oppressed and they feel as if they have something to gain from the suffrage movement of white women. I'm not saying that white women don't have a beef. I don't really understand it. They are the most protected woman on the face of the earth. They have the white men that provide them with homes and cars and jewelry and financial freedom. But then they turn against these same men who go out and build buildings and equipment and improve and civilization and make it comfortable for them to wear their stiletto shoes and their little black dress and drive their shiny black cars. And then all of a sudden, once everything is built and society is pristine, they turn around and claim that they are suffering. But that's their issue. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying, why do black women feel that they need to be a part of this movement? It baffles me, and that's just another reason why I did this video, but that's not the sole purpose. My purpose is that, I don't understand why we don't have any black leaders. Why our children that we are sending away to college to gain knowledge, wisdom, and insight and understanding, then come home to their black communities and use that knowledge against their own black people. I believe it was Alexander the Great who said the best way to destroy a nation is to destroy its ability to reproduce itself. And as far as I'm concerned, it is homosexuality that is now prevalent in the black community is a weapon to our own self-destruction. And if we have any black intellect who uses European knowledge in order to convince black people that they have a right to annihilate themselves, I have a problem with that. One guy I was watching on YouTube, he talked about how, even animals are gay. You got gay dolphins and gay turtles and all that other crap. And one man even mentioned to him, said, you know what? In the Bible, they call homosexual sodomites. And the word sodomy means to forcibly enter the anal or the rectum of another person. I say forcibly because the anal or the rectum was not created or designed to be some type of intake organ. It was designed to be an organ that rids the body of its toxins and feces and all types of waste that the body produces. And so it is literally a sewage system. So then to create a philosophy that tells another man that you can plant your seed planter into another man's sewage system, and that's good and that's God ordained, I believe it's just straight up satanic. I know it's a lot of people out there who's not gonna like this video because they so wrapped up in their new age thinking, and they're so wrapped up in this total acceptance movement. Everything has to be accepted nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Pretty soon, we already got cross genders fighting for acceptance in the workplace, fighting for the right to use women's bathrooms right next to your daughter, or we already got pretty soon we're going to have men fighting for the right to have sexual relations with children. That's basically what it's going to come down to. You may say that's far stepping, but you know what? 15 years ago, we wouldn't believe that the homosexual community will have achieved the legislative achievements that they have in this country. create as much philosophy as you want. But when it comes down to it, if every man decides to become a homosexual and every woman decides to embrace the lifestyle of a lesbian, think about what that would do to human population. We probably would not even exist within 20 to 30 years. So if your philosophy is so perfect and undisputed, then why does our very nature protest against it? Why did God design me as a man and her as a woman, and our opposite parts combined to create life? Two penises cannot create life. Two vaginas cannot create life. A woman can't raise a man, and a man can't raise a woman. It takes the joint effort to raise a child. When it comes to a boy child learns by the emulation of his father. The way a father moves, the way he talks, the way he walks, the way he deals with situations, the way he deals with his mother. A boy takes that in. A boy watches his father go to work and come home tired. You know, a boy watches the way his father tense up when he feels his family is under any type of siege or attack or threat. You know, and he take these cues from his father and he emulate them and develop them within himself. But when you have a single mother trying to raise a boy child, that boy is emulating his mother the same way he emulated his father. You know, you see young kids with feminine traits, and then they claim they later become part of the homosexual community and say that I was born this way. When we all know, even those who oppose know that this is social conditioning. No one's born gay. Let me repeat that. No one's born gay. It is social conditioning. We teach kids through our cartoons and our television shows, Will and Grace, and, you know, Teletubbies, all these like homosexually tinted, you know, programming that are becoming the Trojan horses into our children's psychological structure. You know, back in my days, we played with He-Mans. You know, we played with Tonka trucks. We rode bicycles together, played with dogs and climbed trees, you know, watched Kung Fu flicks. You know, we were practicing how to become men. Women, they played with Barbie dolls and hobby ovens, and they watch, cartoons and programs that was catered to little girls. And there was no mixing of the two. And so we developed, we developed and came into what we were created to be. And the success of that is that these boys and these girls grow up and they come together and they create another life. You know, God don't make mistakes. And the fact that man is always trying to recreate God's creation, trying to change their minds and their thoughts, their actions, and then creating philosophy and science to back it up. But you know what? The same way Satan lied to Eve in the Garden of Eden and told her that she can be a god, that she can have the knowledge of both good and evil, that God was keeping things from them. And then if they bit into this apple, directly went against what God told them not to do, that it would somehow improve their mentality, their consciousness, their position on this earth. Eve fell for that, and she convinced her husband Adam to fall for that. And because of that, they both fell. Thus, the fall of man. The Bible is not antiquated. It is not, some old, it wasn't written by these old ancient men who had no connection to God. It wasn't a philosophy. The Bible, yes, it was written by men, but it was written by men who were spiritually motivated to write it. They were given spiritual insight, spiritual knowledge. And I find that when I apply the principles of the Bible in my life stabilizes. It becomes pleasurable. It becomes interesting. It feels as if it has meaning. But when I start buying into the laws or the lies of Satan, anything goes. Do whatever you want, as long as it makes you feel good. Don't focus on others. Don't have, sympathy or empathy for others, but be narcissistic. Think about yourself. Think about your own earnings and what kind of car you're gonna drive, and kick the bum on the street and ridicule him and tell him to get a job. That's that Luciferian, that's that Luciferian doctrine playing out through you. And all they're doing is they're making it digestible for you through the television shows. Look at our black women. Our black women are emulating and watching shows like Empire, Scandal, or you got these black women wearing Vera Wang dresses and whatever you call it, and nice hairdos, weaves, and and they're walking around the White House and with the illusion of having power. But if you notice, it's just one narrative that plays out through it all. Their power is given to them by Massa. Whether he comes in the form of a president, whether he comes in the form of a CEO, whether he comes in the form of whatever may come to your mind, that's just another form. He gives her authority. And then what does a black woman do when she gets her authority? She uses it against the black man. It's plain and simple. I know there's going to be a lot of you out there who just think what I'm saying is completely, out of the picture and antiquated and old and maybe too traditional. That y'all have this new insight, this new understanding, and y'all so evolved, this millennial crowd, where y'all music don't make no sense. Where rap has been dumbed down to the point where they call it mumble rap, where black women envy people like Beyonce, who has made a living basically shaking her butt in spandex, on another person's stage, telling women that they can be independent, that they don't need a family, husband, they don't need a family structure, they can do it all themselves. But you know what? They paying Beyonce millions of dollars to tell y'all to be independent and poor. Telling y'all to neglect y'all children and y'all husband and worry about yourselves. Go to the club, be independent, get your own money. Don't submit to no man. And see, but the end result is y'all end up on welfare. Y'all end up lonely. Y'all end up struggling. Y'all end up becoming a victim to other men who sneaking in there to violate y'all. See, a man's role is to protect his family, his woman, keep his home safe and secure. And when y'all push that man out, y'all pushing out your own security, and y'all allowing, an opportunity for the wolf to sneak in and just ravage everything that is precious to you. It's come a time where we got to get back to God's word, man. We got to really stop. We really need to stop rejecting this European knowledge that's changing us, man. Homosexuality was not prevalent in Africa. It was not part of our mentality. We didn't put on dresses. Like all these comedians, man. I believe it was one comedian who said that in order for him to get to the next level, they wanted him to put on a dress. Think about all the black comedians that you've seen wear a dress. Martin Lawrence, Big Mama, Tyler Perry, Medea, even Wesley Snipes. He's not a comedian, but he's another one that threw on a dress in order to elevate his status in Hollywood. How long are we gonna keep selling out, man? It's like they took away everything from the black man, but they couldn't take away our strength, our sense of manhood. Our masculinity. Now we losing that because y'all falling victim to this programming, man. I watched Empire, man, and they got a man, a beautiful, black, intelligent, talented man. I believe his name is Jamal. One minute he's elevating, black talent. And the next minute he's tonguing another man down in the closet. Performing oral sex on another man. And you women sit there and you watch it, and you got your little boy beside you watching the same thing. And you think that that's not having an impact on him and his psyche, giving him an option that wasn't there before, making him think that this is the decision I can make. I can change who my sexual identity is. I believe y'all call that gender identification. That is a word that was created by some professor or some scientist at the Tavistock Institute. And they designed it to affect and destroy the black nation. We have to bring this together, man. We have to be led by God, not by the media. It's time to get it right. Kids, go to school, man. Learn something. Come home and help your black family out of the situation they're in. Help your black community. You ain't got to be ashamed of your black community. Come on home. And this video is not about talking about white people. When I talk about the white or the Europeans, I mean the elites, the ones who are strategically trying to hold us down and destroy us. I'm not talking about the person across the street from you. I have a lot of friends who happen to be white, whom I love, whom I feed, whom I give money to, take care of, consider my friend, help them through these hard day situations, communicate with through on Facebook or what have you, telephone, fix their cars. I have no problem. I love them, but I don't love that mentality. And you shouldn't either. Peace.